Hello, Dr. Karen Can here. Welcome to this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. And our topic is lymph or the lymphatic system. But before I go on about our topic, would love for you to hit the subscribe button and perhaps the notification bell in case you would like to be notified of every new video that I do. So back to our topic for the week, lymph. Well, recently I've just gotten some hints to study more about the lymph. Now, being a medical doctor, I'm slightly embarrassed to admit that I know very little about the lymphatic system other than it exists and never got to do any dissections in anatomy class in first year related to the lymphatic system. Either that or I fell asleep in class. I just don't remember it. I just knew it was kind of like a circulatory system, had no idea how the fluid, kind of came back. I just knew it released toxins somehow, got toxins out of the body. That was about it. Now, it only was of interest when there was a clog. So, when the lymphatic vessels were, for whatever reason, not working, then we would have something called lymphedema. And in fact, I remember seeing some pictures of intense lymphedema that literally one person's leg was the size of an elephant's leg and the other leg was normal. I'm like, how does that even happen? Right? Like, how does the skin and everything expand that big? And it was very curious to me, but I thought, well, gee, maybe that's in some other country. I've never seen it before, certainly not doing training in Canada. We really didn't see anything quite that bad. Now, we did see lymphatic pooling when people had, varicose veins that were really, really bad and or heart congestion. A congestive heart failure rather, where the blood was not pumping back into the circulatory system very well, so it would kind of pool in the legs, and the legs would swell, and then the blood would kind of seep out, and then the lymphatic system, not being able to handle all that fluid, it would just kind of sit there, and the leg and the skin would all get kind of bruisey looking and red, and sometimes infected, and it was terrible to deal with. And to be honest, we didn't deal with it very well. It wasn't until the last decade or so that I even heard about lymphatic specialists. I'm like, there's specialists in lymphatics? I had no idea. Of course, a physical therapist, I've been dealing with it for quite a while, and there are some specific specialists that work on lymphatic massage, drainage, and also wraps and even taping. And I learned this from a local massage therapist that had done, special training on this. Before that, I had no idea. So, why am I talking about this? Well, here's the thing. Sensitive souls, especially more recently, have noticed over the last few years that there have been episodes of intense swelling in the body. In fact, people have gained due to the ascension process, meaning the expanding vibration of the planet and all of us. So it's a good thing, right? We're expanding, we're elevating our vibration. However, a lot of us sensitive souls have experienced swelling. Now, the average medical personnel might go, oh, yeah, you've got bad lymph or something, like your lymphatic system's backed up. And that's about all you kind of hear. And if they're really savvy, they go, well, go see the lymphatic specialist. But we really don't know why you're swelling. And that's what happened to me. So I was swelling and I gained like 25 pounds, which on a frame of 5'4" was a lot of weight, and I looked like and felt like the Michelin Man. Now, you may have heard this story before. Um, and what we're seeing is that there are periods of time where we get these ascension upgrades, these huge increases in energy. Some people will describe them as astrological or whatever. Okay, I'm not an astrologist, so I don't really know all of that. But I can feel it in my body when we go through a major shift. Now, normally, these shifts are very positive and transformative. Just sometimes the body is like, whoa, okay, what am I doing? Right? And can't quite handle the increased vibration. Why does it come with excess fluid? That is the million-dollar question. Well, the difference between pathological lymphedema, which is a medical condition, and what we're seeing in sensitive souls who are otherwise relatively healthy without, lung issues, without, congestive heart failure or um, um, broken valves in their veins, right? This other type of swelling is very different from pathological swelling that you would see in the medical doctor's office. For me, the swelling started in the belly area, and then it kind of started to extend up. So I was like, oh, I have boobs. Wow. And then shoulders, and then it also expanded down to the butt and the upper legs. And my calves, unfortunately or fortunately, are rather tight in fascia. Thank you, figure skating, and that interesting boot that we have to skate in. So it didn't really go that further down. So that's the one thing where if you go to a medical doctor and you go, well, I'm swelling, and they'll look at you and they're like, well, you don't drink, so it can't be ascites. And that there's clearly a difference because ascites looks very different. So that's like when the fluid's pooling in your abdomen, like free water is pooling in there, and you look pregnant, and the skin is very thin and discolored, and it's really awful. And that comes with end stage liver disease, cirrhosis, normally, from, alcoholics and stuff like that. Anyway, so it's not that kind of swelling. It literally is subcutaneous. What does that mean? Well, it's underneath the skin. Now, there could, of course, be fluid in the colon and the peritoneum, possibly, or the omentum. Sorry for all the medical terms. But it's not ascites. It's not free fluid in the belly, right? So in pathological medical speak, so to speak, you have the swelling in the legs, which is big fat ankles, right? That's not the ascension swelling, generally speaking. And then you have the swelling in the belly, which is ascites, and that is from, liver cirrhosis, liver damage. It's not that either. We are literally puffy. Yes, it's not a medical term, but sensitive souls can be puffy. And from what I gather, some of it has to do with these amazing high vibrational source codes that come in through usually the crown of the head and then get integrated into the body system, interpreted, integrated, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes there's a lag time between the time that your body can go, oh, wow, I can interpret all this light, right? And to be able to process it, and other times where maybe we eat too many candy canes, or we're overworking or over drinking. Well, not too many sensitive souls drink that much, but that I've met, all these kinds of things. Maybe we're not taking care of ourselves as well, and so it takes longer to process this light that is coming in so we can swell, or we just are very busy. Our lives are just crazy busy, and that's what happens. So now that I've decided I'm going to pay attention to the lymph because I think it's pretty important, there's some things that I'm studying that I perhaps will share a little bit later. But one of the things I do know is that if you can move the lymph efficiently and be able to process the energy and the light, which we actually teach in Topocan level 1. It's a complex protocol, so I won't go through the whole thing here. To manage the fluid management system, to manage the lymph, the energy, the light, the Harvard line, all this kind of stuff. But if you can manually improve the flow of your lymph, you potentially could feel a lot better, because backed up lymph can, certain people have thought, including one of the authors of one of my medical physiology books way back when, Dr. Guyton, felt that if the lymphatic fluid did not get drained efficiently, that would actually lead to cell death very, very quickly, which is fascinating because I don't remember that chapter at all, but it's there. So what can we do? Okay, there's a couple things. We're going to do a Topocan healing directive today. And like I said, there is a much more involved Topocan healing protocol for both lymph and ascension fluid, but we can't go through all that. But what we can do is tell you very simply one of the key things that I learned that can be really helpful, especially if you muscle test. Now, there are 2 lymph ports right here. This is where the lymph dumps into the subclavian vein on both sides, right? And goes back into the circulation. So you have all this fluid, it's gathering like a tree, gathering fluid from all parts of your body, right? And then helps to get rid of toxins. And then the fluid dumps back into the circulatory system here in the subclavian vein. Now, what's very interesting to me is that there's two ports, right and left, but they do not drain equally. Now, the, the right port actually drains the right side of the head, neck, arm, chest, kind of like the upper body, okay? But not the lower body. The left port drains all of that and the entire lower body. So the left port has a bigger job to do, which probably explains why my left port isn't as happy as my right port a lot of the times. So that's one thing I want you to know about. So if you do muscle testing, go into stillness, right? We'll do that in a moment. We'll go into stillness and you muscle test how happy, open, and patent, Patent, that means how open, okay? How happy, open, and patent. I know this is redundant saying open and patent, but I wanted to give you the medical term. Are my lymphatic ports right now? So you want these to be open because if you do a whole bunch of lymph work, even manual lymph work, right? And there's energetic blocks here, it's not going to work as well. So you want to check this. How happy, open, and patent are my left and right lymph ports? And I usually do them separately because we know they don't equally drain the different parts of the body. And once you get that assessment through divine muscle testing, or even through your just pure intuition, right, then you have an idea where you're at. Now, oftentimes, if you are getting any sort of achy pain in your body, anywhere in your body, that's often backed up lymph. And if you had a diagnosis that I used to have, which was fibromyalgia, and feel like you've been hit by a truck, or that you have the flu 24/7, that's your lymphatic system. That's the pain. I did not know that back then. They didn't teach that in medical school, but now I know. That kind of hit by a truck, fluey pain is your lymphatic system that's like, it's just not working. Okay. And these ports are probably closed. So, whether you assess or not, now let's go ahead and show you what you can do manually to help at least address or open these ports. Now, I have this book. I really like it. It's called The Book of Lymph, Self-Care Practices by Lisa Levitt, and she is a massage therapist. I have bought other lymph books that are not so good, but she is very believable and has lots of client testimonials. Now, even though her protocols are fairly lengthy, when you know them, it probably won't take you more than 5 or 10 minutes to do them. But I haven't memorized any of them yet, so I have to look it up. And I had difficulty looking at the pictures in the Kindle because I have a really tiny phone. So I like the physical book, just FYI. So I'll put the link to the book below. So what my lymphatic specialist taught me was right up here, right up here. What you can do is you can take the palms of your tips of your fingers here. You can gently just drag a little bit, very, very lightly, just down towards your collarbone, just like this, 30 times. Breathe, remember to breathe. And what's really neat, I recently found out, is when you take a deep breath in, that you literally suck the lymph into the thoracic duct here, and then it dumps it in through the ports, right? So if you breathe shallowly, you will not have good lymphatic drainage. Fascinating, right? Never learned this in medical school. So as you breathe deeply, doesn't mean you have to breathe quickly, but deeply into the belly, right? You can just kind of brush this area down. It's very light. Like my lymphatic specialist said, like as if you were taking a coin on the table, like a 5-cent piece, and just moving it. That's how light it is. It's not deep. Because once you go deep, you actually squish the lymph. You have to do it lightly. Or as my husband likes to say, light petting. So light petting yourself up here, right? And so you can do this a bunch of times. So your lymph ports are kind of deep in that area, but this motion actually helps to open them. And what's really cool is you can do it with intention as well, right? So we can do it with the topic inhaling directive. So let's go into the still point together, stillness through observing internal movement. Just rub your hands, get them activated, get some energy in them, right? And then release, feel the energy in your hands. Just imagine energy coming out of your hands. So your energy in the hands, you're going to take these and put your hands over this lymph area and just imagine the area opening up. And we're going to do a topican healing directive. I now command that the lymph ports be made open and patent 100% at all times of these being grace in the highest and best way. Whatever's preventing it, be healed now in all timelines where we exist. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So consider doing this on a daily basis and remember the deep breathing. Okay. So this will help your lymph ports. And then you can check in afterwards how happy, open, and patent these are. And oftentimes they will be more patent. Now, the other things you could do, so we got this, right? And there's more complex things, but this is like the beginning, right? Learning to do this. Then we've got the deep breathing, not fast breathing, deep breathing, right? Breathing into your belly and your rib cage. And then, and then that helps. And then we also have what Dr. C. Samuel West calls lymphasizing. Now, that's another book, which at this point I don't recommend because it's from the 70s and some of the dietary information is a little inaccurate now and it's very redundant. So there may be other resources that may be helpful, but long story short, the action of rebounding, or if you have a vibration plate, which I have one in my office as well as my gym because I love it so much, that can actually help to move the lymph. If you get a rebounder, I would say try it. If you're really athletic, like I am, it probably doesn't matter whether you get a cheapo one or not so cheapo one, but I am pretty picky. So the one I have is called a Cellar Sizer, Cell by David Hall. And his dad was actually injured by a cheap rebounder. And so he was bound and determined, that was a pun made on purpose, bound and determined to make a better one. So he used all these NASA-like materials. And so mine's up there. Like I think mine was like $497 and it folds in 3 pieces and you can carry it with a little, a little suitcasey kind of thing. Anyway, so there's one that's cheaper that's just a fold in half. It's very heavy, but it's very heavy duty, very good. So I do recommend that one, the Cellar Sizer. But there are other rebounders, so try it. And make sure that it doesn't warp and it has a really, really good warranty. And I think his was like lifetime warranty, some crazy thing like that. So it's very good. And when you bounce, there's a soft end feel. If you get a really good rebounder, a soft end feel, it doesn't go like that at the end. So that really helps protect your joints. And all you're doing is this little baby bounce, just a little baby bounce like this. And it's amazing how all your cells in your body are actually jiggling, right? And it's actually moving the lymph. And then if you're deep breathing and working on that, it can be super, super helpful. So sensitive souls, if you can't take care of your lymphatic system, then it won't pool. Because if it pools, it starts causing pain and discomfort and all sorts of things. And even though there may be greater light in the body, it doesn't mean we have to suffer from symptoms. And it can mean possibly that by taking care of our physical lymphatic system and, of course, energetically with topican healing, that you could feel better, look better, be slimmer, and also be able to process things better. Because it's not just about spirit or just about energy or just about the physical body, right? Like sometimes sensitive souls are so way over here, everything's energy healing, right? But then the rest of their life, it's like they're not paying attention to their physical body and physical form and what it needs and what it doesn't like and what it does like. So we need to integrate all of that information and then you do what works for you. So check it out. Like I said, I'll put the link to the book if you like some of the exercises. And for topican healing is just, being able to use intention, getting energy in your hands, and saying, I now command that these lymphatic ports be made completely 100% open, patent in the highest and best way, all directions of time, with speed, ease, and grace. Anything preventing it, be healed now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then do your deep breathing, jumping. And the other thing that's really helpful for lymphatic movement is swimming. Now, in the middle of winter, probably not going to swim, except in the bathtub. So if you have a tub, it's very helpful if you actually just swish around in the water, and that actually helps to move the lymph And that's why a lot of times when people go swimming, they have to go pee because the fluid is now like hydrostatic pressure, right? Is pushed back into the lymphatic system so it can exit you. So the bathing can be really, really helpful. And while you're there, you might as well put a cup of Himalayan crystal salt for bathing if you want, or maybe magnesium chloride from the Zechstein seabed. Ancient Minerals has a really good one. You can put a cup or more of that, or you can get some other, Epsom salts, whatever you like, right? So that can actually be helpful as well. But even if you don't have all that stuff, just being in the bath and swishing around can be super, super helpful for your lymphatic system. So I hope this is helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments if you notice a shift after we did the Topican Healing Directive. Continue practicing it, and continue to do those things. Open this up manually using your energy in your hands. Topican Healing Directive, deep breathing, and moving your body can be super, super helpful. All right, so a couple of announcements before I go today. Number one is if you missed the Ask the LifeWave Doctors Zoom on December 11th, we are actually replaying as an audio on the first of the month. So, well, the first Monday of the month, January. And we will let you know that, every month we do a Zoom and then we put a replay up on the radio show, at least for now, put the replay up as an audio because some of the things we say probably may not be YouTube friendly. So we're just going to do the audio for now. The other thing I wanted to let you know about that's coming up in the future is I'd love for you to mark your calendars. Seriously, mark your calendars for the Light Warrior Training Camp, aka the Superpower Intensive, for the week of July 14th, 2024. We are again going to be at the beautiful, amazing, rustic Lake Clear Lodge and Retreat Center in upstate New York. And it is a beautiful place. There's not a lot of spots, maybe about 48 spots, and single rooms are at a premium. So the event was, I have to say, so amazing last year, even though I lost my voice. So so fun, so cohesive. Just the thought of meeting you in person and giving you a real hug, and connecting and singing and just doing the healing work, doing the training you on your superpowers in person is really phenomenal. Now, we already have some spots that are spoken for, including for, of course, myself, some of my staff, and some of my VIP clients. But I would love for you to mark your calendar for that, because as soon as we launch this, we'll be sending out emails to you. And we have a super early bird pricing, and there's only a small number of spots for that pricing, and then it's going to go up. So I'm just letting you know now. So look at your calendar and see if you can make it. And definitely, if you live in New York State, there is no excuse for you not to come, okay? You're in driving distance from me. Uh, and anyway, so it was great fun, and we learned a lot, and it's just so transformational to be there training in person. So I really, really, really desire for you to be there with me this year. So this is your early warning that email is going to come early in the new year. Also wanted to just mention that once a month or so, I just want to remind people, because there's some new people to my, to my channel, that I do have a special place in the light medicine community, which is a community on the Circle app. And this spot is called the Health Freedom Tribe. Now, the Health Freedom Tribe is a group of us who are very passionate about health freedom, medical freedom, and perhaps don't have the global empathy of everyone else on the planet to sometimes support us. And these are folks that have had difficulty and challenges with their family, with their employers, perhaps with their children or grandchildren, not being able to see them because, certain mandates were necessary, and they did not follow those mandates for health reasons. So for people that need people to talk to, that really would like to, learn from each other on various different aspects of health freedom and natural healing, we meet actually every week. Wednesday, normally at 12 noon Eastern, and we chat. We do marvelous meditation, manifestation meditation, every single week. Sometimes we have other activities. Sometimes we do, water charging, really cool stuff. We just did that last week. And at least once a month, we have a special guest that comes in, and it's sort of like, a little VIP session with that guest on their expertise. And we have some really, really great guests lined up in the Health Freedom Tribe. So if that is of interest to you, check out the link. We're going to put it below this video, and you know, on that page, it'll tell you more about it and see if it's a fit for you. It's a very, very low monthly membership, and you get to interact and chat with me every single week. So, all right, I believe that is it for this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. So feel free to comment below, tell me how your lymphatics feel, and any other wisdom that you have, either related to lymphatics or Tibetan healing. Feel free to share your experience below. Remember to hit subscribe, and I will see you next week. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Much love and Happy New Year.